So yesterday I was working on a grant application and writing the artist statement. Usually these grants for artists and writers ask for some kind of statement so they can get to know who you are, what you're about, your vision, your drive, your plans. And I just found myself kind of stuck while writing this artist statement. I think I was maybe feeling a bit burnt out from writing artist statements. They kind of can get repetitive or feel meaningless. Now, when it's a grant related to a specific project, I have a much easier time because I can focus on what I'm trying to accomplish with a particular show, what the aesthetic of that show is, where it's at, what it needs. Those feel like very easy answerable questions. However, when the grant is specifically about awarding an individual, an artist, like the one I was working on this week, I just have a harder time knowing how to frame what I'm about. And not because I don't know myself. I do. I think I do. I like to think that I do, and I like to think that I can frame what I do as an artist. But I was just running up against kind of fatigue from using the same words. Words like empathy, intersectionality, diversity, underrepresented, marginalized. All of these words are important to me and to the work that I'm trying to do. I do want to create shows that center those who have been marginalized and othered. I do care about the diversity of the theater landscape. It's not that I don't care or like these things, but I think these words are kind of overused. Well, okay, maybe not overused, but might be used by certain foundations as buzzwords. And so sometimes writing these grants feels like, I need to say the right buzzwords to capture their attention. And then it just starts to feel a little icky. Like I want to apply and be truthful and be real about who I am, but I don't want it to feel like I said the right words, the right catchphrases, so that when people read it, they go, this person must be the kind of artist that we are looking for. And of course, there's a rational part of my brain that says, but that's what you're supposed to do, right? Like you're supposed to frame what you're writing in a way so that those who are trying to select who they want to award the grant to can read the artist statements and know who they resonate with or who resonates with their organization. But I just wasn't really having it yesterday, and I even just had to pause and journal and think and feel some stuff. I think it's also because I don't necessarily want to always talk about the fact that I am an Asian American in a broadly non-Asian American field. Even though that's true, and even though that is a quote selling point, it just feels tiring. It's exhausting. It's exhausting to always talk about the thing that has made you feel othered, and then to use it as a talking point and a justification as to why you might deserve the award, which in many ways it's like, no, that shouldn't be why I deserve the award. It should be that my work speaks for itself. And granted, there's more to these applications than the artist statement. You do give samples usually of work, of a script or a scene or a song. You provide your resume. But I just wasn't feeling this kind of very buzzwordy way of talking. So after some soul searching and thinking, and I think I may have even taken a nap because I was tired of thinking about all this, I decided that I would try to write my artist statement without using certain words. I purposely said I'm not going to use the word empathy. I'm not going to use the word marginalized or underrepresented. I'm going to find other ways to say this so that it feels true and not like I'm just inserting the buzzwords and catchphrases to capture the attention of those reading it. And I don't know if what I came up with was stellar or amazing, but after reading it over today before I actually sent it off, I was happy with it. I was glad that it was true, that it was real, that it didn't feel like I was overly marketing myself, and it felt good. And that's really all I wanted to share. There's no lesson. It's really just sharing my thought process of applying for this one specific grant. And then, of course, there's more grant applications. I think there's another one I want to get to today. And there's just the waiting game, and you kind of put yourself through this whole application process only to then have to just not think about it for however many months it takes for them to make their decision. Anyway, feel free to share with me your stories, squabbles, issues with having to write grants, and that feeling that we are always kind of clamoring for the same funding and trying to sell ourselves. It's an interesting dynamic that I could wax poetic about on the larger systems at play here, but I don't have any solution to it myself, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And I will see you all next week.